you know, in the last class, we were discussing Rousseau's first discourse, in which he criticizes humans' misuse of sciences and arts. So, in my understanding, he is not blaming the sciences and arts. He is blaming our misuse of sciences and arts. So, he says, the dear name of the fatherland will never be heard by them. So he is criticizing the education system here. He is criticizing the teachers that they do not teach the required things, desirable things to the students, to the children. Rather, they teach them irrelevant things. They teach them foreign languages, which are not very important for them. So they are not taught true patriotism. The dear name of the fatherland will never be heard by them, by the students. If they are taught about God, they will learn fear instead of reverence. So if they teach the religion, they teach a wrong perspective of religion. The people do not learn how to love God. Rather, they just learn how to fear God. A wise man once said, he would prefer his student to spend time on the tennis court. At least there he would get a healthy body. I know children must stay busy. Idleness is the biggest danger for them. So, what should they learn? This is a good question. Let them learn what they must do to act like real human beings, not what they must later forget. Our gardens are full of statues, our galleries are full of paintings. What would you expect these admired artworks to show? Defenders of our nation are great people who help the nation by their virtue. No, they show every type of foolishness of the heart and mind. These images come from old mythology. They are shown to children very early. Without doubt, the purpose is clear. Children are given models of bad behavior even before they can read. What causes these abuses? It is the sad inequality among us. It is caused by giving glory to talent and lowering the worth of virtue. This is the clearest result of all our study. It is also the most dangerous result. So, Rousseau is making the point that studies and learning are focused on talent, they are not focused on virtues. The education system is not producing good humans, rather, it is focused on bringing up talent. We no longer ask if a man is honest, we ask only if he is talented. We no longer ask if a book is useful, we ask only if it is well written. So, a book being well written is more important for us than its being good. Clever minds receive rewards, virtue receives none. 1,000 prizes exist for good essays, none exist for good actions. Good essays receive rewards. Good actions, good people receive no reward. Tell me, is the honor of writing the best discourse in the academy equal to the merit of creating the prize itself? A wise man does not chase success, but he still cares about glory. When he sees glory given unfairly, his virtue weakens. His virtue could have helped society, but it dies in poverty and darkness. Virtue dies in poverty and darkness. This happens when pleasing talents overshadow useful talents. This has been proven too clearly since the return of the sciences and arts. We have physicists, geometers, chemists, astronomers, we have poets, musicians, painters, but we no longer have citizens. Citizens are good humans. We don't have good humans. If a few citizens still exist, they live scattered in deserted villages. They live poor and ignored. This is what happens to the people who gave us bread and milk for our children. This is the respect they receive from us. But I must admit something. The harm is not as great as it could have been. Providence placed healing herbs beside poisonous plants. It made harmful animals contain their own antidote. Antidote treatment. Iksir. Iksir in Urdu. Antidote. It taught Earth's rulers, who are Earth's ministers, to follow this same wisdom. Following this example, that great monarch whose glory will shine brighter with each age created something wise. I'm repeating it. Following this example, that great monarch whose glory will shine brighter with each age created something wise. He created famous societies from the heart of the arts and sciences. These societies carry a dangerous trust, the trust of human knowledge. They also carry a sacred trust, the trust of morals. They must keep these trusts pure. They must demand purity from the members they accept. These wise institutions were strengthened by his noble successor. They were copied by all the kings of Europe. These institutions will at least act as a brake on intellectuals. They will restrain men of letters. All these men will desire the honor of joining these academies. They will watch their own behavior. They will try to make themselves worthy of this honor. They will do this through useful works. They will do this through flawless morals. These academies will give prizes for literary merit. In these contests, they will choose subjects that revive love for virtue. So I think here Rousseau is suggesting how a bad education system will transform into a good education system. These subjects will awaken virtue in the hearts of citizens. The academies will show that love of virtue lives among them. They will give every nation a rare and sweet pleasure. People will see learned societies offering not only pleasing knowledge, they will also offer helpful moral teaching. I do not care to hear on an objection. Any objection only proves my point. So many precautions show how necessary precautions are. People do not look for remedies when no illness exists. Why should these precautions share the weakness of ordinary remedies? The many institutions created for scholars can easily deceive them. They can deceive scholars about the purpose of the sciences. They can push minds towards studying the sciences too much. The precautions taken make it look as if we have too many farmers. They make it look as if we fear having too few philosophers. I do not wish to compare agriculture and philosophy. People would reject such a comparison. I will only ask one question: what is philosophy? What do the writings of the most famous philosophers contain? What are the teachings of these so called lovers of wisdom? If we listen to them, what impression do we get? We would think they are a group of street charlatans. Charlatans, Shubdabas, street charlatans. Charlatan willing to do and say virtually anything to remain in the spotlight. The Koslebas, Shubdabas. Each one calls from a different corner of the marketplace. Come to me, only I do deceive. Only I do not deceive. Come to me. There are many charlatans in the marketplace. All of them are calling people, come to me. Only I do not deceive. So one says there are no physical bodies. So Rousseau is criticizing the philosophers. Philosophers are like charlatans. All of them claim, I don't deceive. One says there are no physical bodies. He says everything is of only reflection. Another says matter is the only substance. He says the world itself is the only God. One philosopher says virtue does not exist. He says vice does not exist. So vice and virtue don't exist. He says moral good and moral evil are illusions. Another says men are wolves. He says men can devour each other without guilt. O great philosophers, why not keep these useful lessons for your own friends and children? You would quickly receive your reward. And we would not fear seeing your disciples among our own friends. We would not fear seeing them among our own children. These are the wonderful men. These men were honored by their contemporaries while alive. These men were promised immortality after death. These are the wise teachings we received from them. These teachings will be passed from generation to generation. Did paganism, despite all its errors, leave anything as shameful? Paganism, paganism, when there was no religion. So the people had their own style of religion. When people didn't believe in God, it was paganism. Did paganism, despite all its errors, leave anything as shameful? Did paganism leave anything as shameful as what printing prepared for us during the Christian era? The impious writings of Lucippus and Diagoras died with them. Lucippus was in 5th century BC. He was a Greek philosopher. Diagoras was also a Greek philosopher born in Malos in 5th century BC. Sorry? Did paganism leave anything as shameful as what printing prepared for us during the Christian era? Christianity, it is a religion which believes in God, believes in divinity, believes in revelation. In paganism, there was nothing like this. Pagans, they had their own style of beliefs. So Rousseau is making the point: whatever bad things they had, they are over. They are part of the history. Now, in the Christian era, there is a press, and all the good and bad things are printed in books. They exist in libraries, and they will pass on to the coming generations for thousands of years, even all bad things. This is the point. Did paganism leave anything as shameful as what printing prepared for us during the Christian era? The impious writings of Lucippus and Diagoras died with them. So they were pagans, Lucippus and Diagoras, because there was no press at that time. So their impious writings are not do not exist anymore. And the art of giving eternal life to human nonsense had not yet been invented. The art of giving eternal life to human nonsense, that is printing. Yes. Printing. But now, thanks to printed letters and thanks to how we use them, the harmful dreams of Hobbes and Spinoza will last forever. Harmful dreams of Thomas Hobbes and Spinoza will last forever. Go then. Famous writings which the simple minds of our ancestors could not have produced. Go forward to our descendants, together with even more dangerous works that smell of the moral corruption of our age. Go and bring to future centuries a faithful record, a record of the progress of our sciences, a record of the benefits of our arts. If they read your message, they will have no doubt about the question we debate today. And useless, and unless they are more foolish than we are, they will lift their hands to heaven and say, Almighty God, you who hold every soul in your hands, save us from the enlightenment and the deadly arts of our ancestors. Give us back ignorance, give us back innocence, give us back poverty. These are the only treasures that can make us happy. These are the treasures precious in your sight. If the progress of the sciences and arts has brought us no real happiness, and if it has corrupted morality, and if corrupted morality has spoiled purity of taste, what should we think of that crowd of easy writers? These writers removed the obstacles at the gate of the temple of the muses. These obstacles were placed by nature as a test of strength. They were meant for those who want to seek knowledge. What should we think of those collectors of books? They battered down the entrance to the sciences without thinking. They let crowds into the sanctuary. These crowds were unworthy of approaching it. How much better it would have been if all those who could not go far in a literary career had been turned back at the entrance. They should have been guided toward useful arts. Society would have benefited from their arts. A person who would always be a bad poet or a third rate geometer might have become an excellent clothmaker. Those whom nature meant to be her disciples hardly needed teachers at all. Hardly needed teachers at all. A Bacon, a Descartes, and a Newton were teachers of humanity. They had no teachers themselves. And what guides could have led them as far as their genius carried them? Ordinary teachers would have reduced their intelligence. They would have forced it into their narrow limits. The first obstacles these great men met taught them how to apply themselves. These obstacles taught them how to leap across the huge distance they planned to cover. If a few people are allowed to study sciences and arts, it should be only those who feel strong enough to walk alone. So here one should agree with Rousseau. A researcher, a scientist, a philosopher must be strong. Must be strong. If one has weak personality, he or she cannot be a good researcher. He or she cannot be a good scientist. He or she cannot be a good philosopher. If a few people are allowed to study sciences and arts, it should be only those who feel strong enough to walk alone. They must feel strong enough to follow the great geniuses. They must feel strong enough to surpass them, even go ahead of them. Only these few should build monuments to the glory of the human mind. But if we want nothing to be beyond their genius, then nothing must be beyond their hopes. That is the only encouragement they need. Little by little, the soul grows to the size of the subjects it thinks about. Big events create big people. The Prince of Eloquence was a Roman consul. Perhaps the greatest of philosophers was Lord Chancellor of England. Can we believe this? If one had been a university professor and the other a modest member of some academy, would their works have reflected such greatness, which was reflected in the wisdom of Prince of Eloquence, who was the Roman consul? No, the greatest philosopher, Lord Chancellor of England, which is reflected in the wisdom of Lord Chancellor of England. May kings never refuse to welcome into their councils those who can give the best advice. May they give up that old prejudice invented by the pride of the great. This prejudice says that governing nations is harder than enlightening them. As if it were easier to make people do good by force than to persuade them to do good willingly. I am repeating these last two slides. This prejudice says that governing nations is harder than enlightening them. So, what is the criticism here? The criticism is Rousseau, in fact, wants to say that enlightening nations is harder than governing them. Governing is easy, ruling people is easy, enlightening them is difficult. It is a bigger task. As if it were easier to make people do good by force than to persuade them to do good willingly. So it is easy to force people to do good. Yes. It is difficult to convince them to do good. May the greatest learned people find honorable refuge in royal courts. May they receive there the only reward worthy of them. So here, in fact, Rousseau is advising the rulers, the kings, to befriend the learned people, to befriend the wise people, to keep them close, so that they give you good advice. May the greatest learned people find honorable refuge in royal courts. May they receive the only reward worthy of them. That reward is to help nations become wise and happy. So, if the wise and learned people are close to the royal courts, close to the rulers, so it will help the nation grow uh, wiser and happier. Only then will we see what virtue, science, and authority can do. Only then will we see how they act together with noble competition for the happiness of humanity. But as long as power stands alone and enlightenment and wisdom stand alone, the learned will rarely aim at great things. Princes will even loss even princes will even less often achieve great things. Nations will stay miserable, corrupted, and unhappy if there is no link, if there is no connection between wise people and rulers. As for us, ordinary people, not blessed with great talents, not destined for great glory, let us remain in our obscurity. Let us not run after reputation. Reputation will escape us. And in today's world, reputation would never repay what it cost us, even if we had every talent needed to obtain it. So, in fact, Rousseau is advising us not to run after reputation, run after virtue. He is asking us to become virtuous. It is more rewarding. It is more rewarding. The Indian teacher who was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize along with Malala Yousafzai. You don't know. Uh, After the class, when you are free, you can check it on the internet. The Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to Malala Yousafzai and an Indian teacher. Both of them got half of the money, prize money. He is an Indian teacher, simple person, school teacher. So what would he do? What he does is, after coming from school, he gathers the local children who are out of school, and he gathers them at an open place and teaches them free of cost. He does not charge them because they are poor children, many of them orphan, so their parents cannot pay. So in hilly areas of northern India somewhere, he teaches poor children free of cost. Is it not virtue? It is virtue. So I think he is a virtuous person. So finally, he got reputation as well. Now he is a well-reputed person, known all over the world. So even if someone does not get the Peace Prize, Nobel Peace Prize, so in Rousseau's view, it is self-satisfying. Being virtuous gives us inner satisfaction, and we feel contentment, and we live a happy life. Even if we don't get a good name, even if we don't get fame, even if we don't get any reward, the inner satisfaction, inner contentment, that is the best reward. And only a virtuous man can enjoy that reward. Those who pretend to be virtuous, they don't have true peace of mind. They don't have any sense of true happiness. The people who cheat their family members, their spouses, their friends, they have never tasted life in the true sense. So being good, actually being good is the biggest reward. Yes. And in today's world, reputation would never repay what it cost us, even if we had every talent needed to obtain it. Why look for happiness in the opinions of others when we can find it inside ourselves? Let us leave to others the care of managing great interests. Let us give ourselves to fulfilling our own duties. We do not need other knowledge. We do not need other knowledge. O virtue, noble science of simple hearts, do we really need so much effort and so much preparation to know you? Are your principles not written in every heart? Is it not enough to learn your laws, to meditate on them, and to listen to conscience in the silence of our passions? That is true philosophy. So, pay attention. Rousseau is not against philosophy. He is against the bad philosophy, and he is against the misuse of philosophy. That is true philosophy. Being virtuous, that is the true philosophy. Let us be satisfied with that true philosophy. Let us not envy the glory of famous men who find immortality in the republic of letters. Let us try instead to place between them and us that noble distinction once seen between two ancient peoples. One people knew how to speak well, and the other knew how to behave well. So that is the end of the first discourse of Rousseau on sciences and arts. So I hope you enjoyed it.